Yeah, local information that is. You're listening to 4AUR 101.5 FM. It's the morning magazine. We're on 31 minutes past 9 o'clock. We will be with you right through till 11 o'clock, as you know. And then Alan Jones will take the microphone for a national perspective. In the meantime, at the top of each hour, our news team is out the back putting news bulletins together for you. News in depth, that's absolutely for sure. We're chatting with Ian Bell. He's a candidate for the Moreton Bay Regional Council, and he has come out with a statement and made a number of allegations against the administration that's been there for the last 4 years and said that they should have been sacked. Ian Bell, when did this first come to your attention? When did you first form the opinion that this administration wasn't good for the area and that it had in fact contravened legislation to the extent that they should have been sacked?
The first meeting I had about this, I've had about 4 meetings with the Mayor. The meeting I'm referring to was on the 17th of May 2010. And just to clarify, Andrew, there was not a call for the sacking at that time, nor a call for the sacking during this term. What I'm doing now is making a statement and putting this council on notice. I've said that it's only fair that they should be put on notice for the first term because of the fact that, look, it is a first term, we do have amalgamation, but it's a time now, which I'm doing, to say, look, if this continues and gets worse, as it has been happening, you've seen the internal fracturing of council, the bullying inside council, the complete failure of the council to address community concerns because they're totally preoccupied with infighting. So it's all that consultation and all that stuff. So the point now is, I've put them on notice now,
so
and
Ian
I'll be
Bell,
watching very closely.
In your view, you believe that they have contravened codes of conduct and legislation, local government laws?
Plenty of evidence about that, Andrew.
Okay, if you've got that evidence, what gives you the right to be the judge and jury on this? Why wouldn't you forward this to the relevant ministers, the state ministers, and let the due course take place?
As I said, I'm a believer in fairness. I said that I always think it's good to give people a fair chance.
Aren't you in fact aiding and abetting? You're holding back information that could actually suggest that that this administration, this council, as you're alleging, has been breaking the codes of conduct and the legislation put in place by the state, which is ultimately, as a result of the constitution that we have, and you're holding back due justice.
No, fair question, Andrew. But the point I wish to reiterate is that if this council had been operating in this way for several years, it would be a different situation. This is the first 4-year term. In terms of natural justice and fairness.
So in your view, there should be leniency for them to break the laws in the first 4 years?
I think the law does say that all people have a chance. They should have a warning. I'm putting that warning out there now at the end of this term. And
but Ian, is the warning meant to come from you, or is it meant to come from the relevant authorities that are there legislatively to enforce and put these warnings out?
The authorities rely on people like me coming forward, standing up.
But you haven't come forward up until now, and you're saying that you were aware of this back in 2010.
Yeah, as I say, I have put the notice out there now. I've put the council on notice. If I'm mayor and there are not significant improvements, I would expect that I would be put on notice and that the local government department will be notified by someone like me who now has all this evidence. I think what I'm saying, Andrew, is...
So have you done that? Have you gone and notified the local government authorities?
No, what I'm actually reiterating again, this is something that could happen in the next term. You have to go through a process with all things of fairness. I've done that. I've been open and transparent. I've gone in and seen the Mayor. I've registered the issues. I've put forward the evidence to him personally about...
What was his response?
His response was to go away. And that was it. I've never heard any of these issues addressed or resolved. I don't think he took it seriously. I think he thought that I was I don't know what he thought, but the thing is,
So with all of that in mind, if in your view you think that the allegations that his administration, being the mayor and then the councillors, were breaking the codes of conduct and breaking laws, you effectively, in your view, have just said that you didn't think that he took those things seriously. Why would that be a fair warning to expect something to change over the next period of time till the next election? And why does it give you the right that if you know there's a law being broken, to not forward it to the relevant authorities?
It's not a matter so much of breaking laws. It's just process. It's just fairness to the community.
So if it's just process and just fairness, it's not necessarily breaking laws. Isn't that what elections are for?
Well, it's not the way it operates. When a council is sacked, it's a judgment made by the Department of Local Government. Is this local government representing the people and their interests, consulting with them, using the money that they raise? They work for us. Are they using the funds they raise responsibly? Are they being open and transparent? and this is the judgment that's coming out of both these decisions by both the departments of local government. No, these councils, they may not have broken any laws, but they're acting immorally, and they're not acting with integrity in their relations as elected representatives of the community. So it's not necessarily a case of breaking laws, Andrew. There possibly are some breaches, but the point I'm reiterating again is that the council is firmly on notice now. I've been very fair. It takes someone like me to stand up and do this, because people think they have no power against this great juggernaut. Well, we have. And if this goes on into the next term, well, I'll be out there for sure reporting all this to the Department of Local Government and calling for action. I've done this sort of thing before at a major level. It's amazing what one person can do, and that's why I'm doing it.
So you've talked about standing up. You have put your hand up for the election that's approaching very quickly, the 28th of April. What are you going to do to fix this if you get elected?
Well, I'm just going to do the right thing. I mean, it's so glaringly obvious.
What's the right thing? What are some of the things that need to be fixed up?
Consultation. The first thing I'm going to do is because the people around the district are crying out to be heard. They're being ignored. They're feeling like they're on Mars. The people in the outlying regions want to just get out of this council and go back to where they were. Now, what a disgrace! After 4 years, which was supposed to be all about getting the community together. So the first thing I'll do. We have 12 council regions. Mm-hmm. We have 12 months in the year. Starting immediately, each month, all of the council senior staff, the CEO, all councillors, the mayor and senior managers will get in a bus and they'll go out to each region and they will...
that's okay, that's right. Your phone's ringing, that's okay.
They will...
Don't be too worried about it. It'll ring out shortly, won't it?
I'm terribly sorry about that.
That's okay.
They will go to each region and they will consult. They'll be toured around the region by senior representatives of that region who the community satisfy their...
So can I just clarify, you're talking about the councillors, the CEO and senior management all jumping in a bus,
yes,
going to a different area each time?
Yes.
Now, with all of the wages in mind and then the cost of the bus and everything else going, have you put a costing on this? Because you're wanting to get costs of council down, aren't you?
I have part of my announcement, which I'm making this weekend, is I am contributing half of my salary after tax to fund the cost of this, because there needs to be some demonstration, some clear demonstration.
What wage do you get as a mayor?
Well, I believe it's 200,000.
Just say it's 200,000, so you're going to put 100,000 back on the table.
In the first year.
How much is a CEO worth a year?
I think it's about 300 or so, I'm not sure.
Okay, I have heard figures, and don't quote me on this, but I thought they could be as high as up to,
it could be.
It's a few 100,000, right?
Yeah,
so that's just one person. Then you've got the other other councillors, they're all on 100,000 each. You're taking them away effectively. The CEO looks after operational interests. You're going to take them away from that and put them out. So there's a cost associated with that.
No, that's a fair question. No, the point is, this is their core business, consultation, and this is what people are crying out for. Now, the waste, one of the issues I've got here on my list is the extreme waste that I see around me everywhere. I see waste of $100 million in my particular electorate alone, and everywhere I go, people are saying this extent of waste. So the whole exercise is about meeting people's needs.
Okay, getting back to the facts and the evidence of that waste, what's that waste? $100 million, you're saying, just in your own division, which is
some
Division
of this goes
1.
back, sort of 6 years.
So that's a prior administration. That's the old Caboolture Shire Council.
Well, it's the same culture.
Okay, where's this money gone? What's the waste? What's the allegation?
Well, I think you're getting off track a bit. This is, as you said...
Well, these are things we're finding out about you, your credentials.
Okay.
We've come to a point where you're saying that, I've got a media release right in front of me that's embargoed until 7 p.m, the 10th of April 2012. It's authorised by you. And right at the top it says, case for sacking Moreton Bay Regional Council. We want to build this case or find out whether there is a case there from a media perspective. Let's get to the facts. The $100 million, where did it go? Where's the waste?
The waste that's occurring at the moment and I'll start with what's happening in our own region in this term. The council is currently, as we speak, spending. This is just one minor example. This year, they're spending $500,000 to pump sand onto the foreshore at Wooreen. Now that has been proven. I'm on the committee for that, and I'm not really supposed to divulge a lot of detail. But I think that the previous expenditure last year
is the committee a bit like the council, where they keep information back according to your allegations.
Well, I'm under instructions to do certain things, and I'm going to tell you what I can say. But that's one example. The way all that did last time, in my opinion, was to cause further damage because it wasn't carried out according to the reports by their consultants. The council doesn't seem to understand these reports. They didn't apply the sand properly. It had an immediate effect on the Warren Beach, but it caused massive damage, costing millions of dollars all the way to the south for about 2 kilometres, and the place is a total mess. We're losing tourism now because of it, because land valuations have dropped 10% in this area. So that's the sort of waste I'm talking about. I could go on with the waste of money, all this pork barrelling going on, leading into the elections. We're seeing all this foreshore work.
Barrelling? Yeah, okay.
We're seeing all this foreshore works going on throughout the region. $20 million at Redcliffe. It's a tight economic time. We shouldn't be throwing money around. Same at Bribie. We've had all this foreshore works done there, millions of dollars. Now we've got more promises for more waste at Deception Bay. Deception Bay is fine. We don't need to be spending another $20 million there. There's council has been spending money on propping up private sort of events and so on, and there's other mayoral candidates telling me about the huge dollars, millions and millions of dollars there. The money I referred to, there's really sort of an overlap here into the past history, but two councillors who are still councillors voted in a project on Bribie Island, the Bribie Island Borefields project. It initially started at $5 million, went to $63 million within 6 months, and that project has ended up being the biggest white elephant in the southeast Queensland water grid. Now those councillors are still there. They're still doing the same sorts of things. They're still not sort of able to read these technical reports and make informed decisions, and they're having direct influence on decision making for us. And I see that sort of thing happening all the time. Now, I could go on and on about waste. I've got a page of waste items, but I don't want to waste your time.
Absolutely. Just coming back to your candidacy, you've put your hand up, as we've mentioned a couple of times. You're going for mayor. Are you serious about it? There's no signs around. You missed your candidacy forum here with 4AUR 101.5 FM, I believe, because you're putting this together. But if you're serious about those things, you keep those commitments, would you not?
I apologise for missing that particular one. I've been to every other meeting, actually. I don't think the other candidates can all say that. My campaign, I see it a waste of money, putting out all these signs.
So how do you get your message across the whole Moreton Bay region, which is a huge area, third largest council in the Southern Hemisphere? That makes it a big council.
You'd be surprised, Andrew, how well I'm known by people. I mean, sort of things that I'm known by is because I stood up and stopped this $2 billion waste on Bribie Island, the biggest water project in southeast Queensland, apart from perhaps a couple of the...
This is a desalination plant we're talking about?
I stood up, and apart from the waste water plant pipeline to Somerset Dam, Wivenhoe, the actual desalination plant proposed on Bribie was a $2 billion plant. Now, I stood up and stopped that. It's now officially stopped by both the major parties. Now, that gets my reputation around the area. Someone will stand up and save massive waste. Now, I've saved $2 billion for the residents of this region. I'm known for various reasons. I'm the patron of the Bribie District Wildlife Rescue Organisation, which it's the biggest organisation, goes right through all this area. I'm the past president of Bribie Island Environment Protection Association. But my strategy will be a massive email campaign this week, and I've got a blog site I've not released yet. I've been in listening mode. I haven't put out pamphlets and flyers like the other candidates.
So you're expecting to win?
I think it'll be very interesting. I think we're going to get some real surprises.
It'll be really interesting. Are you expecting to win?
And if I'm a totally independent person, I'm up against these huge budgets of some other candidates. But I think people need to express their views. This is probably the last chance you're going to get, listeners, to get someone who's for the residents. This is a really difficult time for us all, because we're feeling so powerless against big business and developers and funded campaigns. So I'm one of those people who I can promise you is for the residents. So
Ian Bell, are you expecting to win? With what you've got, your campaign, everything like that?
I don't think anyone would be confident to say that, Andrew, but I've won some things before that I've never expected to win, just by being honest and straight with people, and that's my strategy.
Ian Bell, you've come out with a lot of information this morning. If people are listening and they want to know more about it, they want to, in particular, approach you before April 28, how do they best do that?
What's
the best way for them to get in contact with you?
I'll leave my mobile with you, if you like.
Okay, you can feel free to put it out over the airways if you're comfortable doing that.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I'm going to be inundated possibly here. So
Okay, you're not comfortable with doing that.
what I'll do is I'll leave it with you and my blog. I'd rather people have a look at the blog.
Is this should you be mayor? Is this going to be the same thing where you're going to make it hard for people to contact
well,
you?
look, I'll have, if I'm mayor, I won't be just me sitting in this chair with my mobile phone. I'll have a staff around me. I mean, this is an electorate of the third biggest council in Australia. So
That's right, in Australia and the Southern Hemisphere. It makes it pretty big, doesn't it?
so what I'll do is I'll direct you to my blog site and I'll provide you with the phone number there. But I don't want to give it out over the air, Andrew.
Yeah, terrific. Ian Bell, thank you very much for coming in and spending some time with our listeners.
That's a pleasure. That's a real pleasure.